What's up, friends? Welcome back to Battle Brothers. Now, before we jump into today's episode of the Bloody Dawn, I wanted to show you my test subjects because this is my offline campaign and I've been using them to experiment with a bunch of things that I've been curious about. So as you can see, 179 days in, so like an extra 40 days past where the Bloody Dawn is, and the first thing you'll notice is the amount of heavy armor I've managed to get. And what I've been discussing in the Bloody Dawn campaign is whether or not the drop rates for reinforced male hauberks and up have been reduced for bandit leaders, and I'm pretty sure the answer is no. It's a solid no. The drop rates are still the same. All of these reinforced male hauberks, and even, okay, well, the coat of plates I got off of a hedge knight, and this hedge knight as well, but all of these sets of reinforced male hauberks, and I've even got two backups here somewhere here. The point is, I was able to get my hands on 5 reinforced male hauberks off the first 6 bandit leaders that I fought. So in this campaign, I just got super lucky. So that's the first bit of curiosity that I had satisfied. The drop rates for the bandit leaders have not been turned down. We just got unlucky in the Bloody Dawn. The second thing was, you'll notice that all 5 of my frontline guys here, I've labeled them Spear, Cleavers, Zweihunter, but I've built them all as tanks. I've made sure to select guys that have good defensive skills. Tillman was still pretty decent though. And I've leveled them with Shield Expert and Battle Forged and Colossus and Gifted. So what I wanted to know was how decent are tanks and how does Gifted compare to Fast Adaptation. And a brief note on Fast Adaptation that we were discussing whether it's Fast Adaptation or Fast Adaption. In the description here, it's called Fast Adaptation, but when you have stacks of Fast Adaptation active on a brother on the UI in-game, there's not enough space to write Adaptation, so that they do then refer to it as Adaption. So both are correct, I suppose. Okay, so how do I feel about tanks on the front line? I felt like they come online, which is to say that they become more good at what they do a lot earlier on. I've got 2 guys who are, you know, spear specialists, super tanky, high defensive guys on the flanks. And at maintaining the flanks, especially in this formation, because you'll also notice I've done a 5 front, 7 at the back setup here, which has allowed me to have 2 pikemen, 2 shield breakers, 2 archers, and a sergeant on the back line, which is the next thing. But so overall, the tanks, I think they are bloody great. They're absolutely wonderful, and I will completely be including some tanks in my playthroughs going forward. Even, I still think I prefer the 7 front, 5 back setup. But right from the start, I think that having tanky characters is absolutely vital. Probably the correct mix of the front 7, I'd say 4. So you alternate. You have your flanks held by tanks, and then you have 3 more offensive-minded guys, and then once you start to get to this point where I am now, I mean, I don't have much money now. I just spent like 10,000 gold buying armor and stuff, but money-wise, I'm pretty much sorted because I've got a bunch of level 11s. Everyone is quite strong. Now is the time, 180 days in, when I can start getting guys who would be dedicated two-handed raiders. And as you can see here, I bought Rolf, who's going to be decent as a two-handed guy. And I've got Albrecht here, the wild man who's got good potential, and they're only starting out their careers now 180 days in, but having gotten all of the gear and having enough money to keep them with the training experience and student, they can level up really quickly and a lot easier. So tanks are good, and I'm going to start using them more in the early game. Leveling the tanks I've got to tweak a little bit though. I think I've got to have Gifted. I've got to switch something out here. I might drop Shield Expert because I like Shield Expert, but the main thing is, here it says, so the shield defense bonus is increased by 25%. So it's not total defense bonus. So if we look here, 20 melee defense, then he gets an extra 25. So he's only getting 5 extra melee defense. So really, Shield Expert is giving him 5 extra melee defense and the ability to keep the shield alive, which is great when you have like a named shield, because it's, you know, absolutely gutting when your shields get destroyed. But look at this, like a Lindworm shield, that's not going to get destroyed even without Shield Expert. So on my tanks, I'm going to switch out Shield Expert. I've got to find somewhere to justify having Gifted and Fast Adaptation, because notably missing here is Steel Brow. Even with good helmets, especially on a tank, I think Steel Brow is mandatory. Underdog you gotta have, Battle Forged you gotta have. Berserk I found to be not that useful on a tank because their offensive numbers aren't that wonderful either. But long story short, I like the tanks, I'm gonna start using them. This Dagger brother, Landrick, has been wonderful right from the start. I got lucky with the guys with Iron Lungs. But now that I've gotten to this point, his effectiveness is falling off. So I'm beginning to think you can do without a shield brother. Okay, so that's one lesson. The next one is, Nimble is incredible. It's fucking incredible. So if you look here, I've got Noble Male, which weighs 15, and this legendary Coif, which weighs 7. And so I'm only taking 50% of any damage to hit points from attacks. So effectively that is 160 times 2 and 175 times 2. It's not exactly like that because Battle Forged works a little bit differently, but it's fantastic. That's one thing I'm going to start doing in the future, is all of my backline are going to start getting nimble. And I like that because it's so much cheaper to build them. With leather scale and a Saleh helmet, you know, that's like 2,000 gold, 2,000 gold. You can outfit them for like 3,000 to 4,000 gold armor-wise, which is not that bad. And then last but not least, I started off with my 2-star companion and I made him a pikeman. He had a lot easier time in the early game because he's standing on the back line. Backstabber was great, but again I'm not entirely convinced of it because it's great when he's already in an advantageous position. So I kind of go back and forth about it. This dude is an absolute killer. It's a lot of times when he'll be fighting against an enemy that has a kite shield with shield wall up and he's still attacking for 95% chance to hit. And this bullhook hits fucking hard. It hits so hard. And adrenaline is incredible on pikemen and shield breakers. A lot of times because when they're attacking just with attack, it's 12 fatigue, so it's not even fatigue neutral, it's less than the fatigue they would use. So you can attack, wound an enemy, use adrenaline, attack again and usually kill them. Adrenaline is so useful, and on my backline it's fantastic. I do think that going 2 pikemen and 2 shield breakers was overkill. If I could do this over again, I would have made Einar just a shield breaker. I would have left out the pikemen. Historically I've included pikemen because I like them for the undead crisis. But I think if you imagine that these 2 pikemen were ninjas with throwing weapons, or even just archers, who could just use throwing weapons when they're up against undead, they would be useful enough. I think having 2 delegated pikemen just for undead is not worth it and too expensive. So, yes, Nimble is amazing. This 2-star guy, I think he would have been better off being a shield breaker because the numbers on the long axe I think is a bit more reliable. 70 damage, 70 and 95 compared to 60 to 90. And comparable armor damage. And of course when they have to go toe to toe with a fighting axe, he's pretty damn good. Something else to bear in mind, with Nimble, the weight of the shield isn't wearing him down. So I'll need to do a bit of testing on this, but I have a suspicion that these guys who have leveled up as tanks, it would have actually been better to give them this sort of armor, have them take half damage, and maybe then you justify shield expert. But the thing is, what I want from my tanks is to get maximum effect out of them as soon as possible for the lowest possible cost. And obviously coats of plates and kettle hats, closed mail, or a proper helm is too expensive. So that's something else I'm going to try. I still think stockpiling weapons is the right thing to do. It's proved to be quite nice. And then one last thing before we get back to the Bloody Dawn is Cleaver Mastery. I mean, Kissa Bernard admittedly doesn't have the best melee skill. He probably would have been better off being a fighting spear user, but I've been so underwhelmed with the Cleaver. I mean, yes, it's great against organic targets like your orcs, your raiders or whatnot, but I don't think it's that much better than something else like a mace or a spear or a frail that it justifies the Cleaver. Yes, you can decapitate zombies, but the armor damage is disappointing. It's not that great. Maybe as a duelist, but then with a duelist I would prefer a sword. So, I remain unconvinced by cleavers. If I can find a 2-handed cleaver that will up the damage numbers, it might be useful. But as you can see, notably here, I don't have any 2-handed weapons. So what this group struggles with is large masses of enemies. I can keep them at bay with my spearmen like this, especially, and by the way, the fighting spear numbers like this, and if I could have justified giving him duelist would have been even better, but like Tillman here, doing 43 to 50, with a fight. He's really, really, really good. He kills Nachtzehrs in 2 stabs. He kills zombies in 2 to 3. Even against the tougher enemies, that's really, really good. So I do like having spear tanks on the flanks, but I wouldn't go for Cleaver again. Okay, so a bunch of interesting lessons. I'm going to keep going with these guys offline because I want to keep testing a bunch of other things. I want to test a nimble build on a tank, and I want to test a full-on nimble swordsmaster, so someone who's got 2 or 3 stars in melee defense. Actually, Ralph might be a decent candidate, although he doesn't have stars in initiative. As soon as I get someone who's got stars in melee defense and initiative, I want to go fully into initiative, fully into defense, and melee skill, and I don't know, dodge as well. And then I want to use that fencing sword. So we'll check in with the test subjects every now and then. But this is all about the Bloody Dawn. So in the last episode, if memory serves, I think we fought the Shrats, or was that the episode before? We had a... Oh yeah, we had a fucking rough fight. Still got Mersault, good. Balloonski the fodder. Although I'm going to build Balloonski like one of these tanks that we just saw. Eisenbart, the Daggermaster. Tachubrak, Flail, like it. Tobert. Yeah, he'll be a tank. Loderak is decent as well. I do like Fearsome. Legue is a shield breaker, excellent. Archer, Sergeant, Archer, Bannerman. Okay. So I want 2 more ranged fighters, and I need some more frontline lads. If I go like that, then that works. Well, once he's healed up. Has that been treated? No. Yeesh. Where is the nearest temple? Down in Thunstetten. That's better. Oh yes, another thing I learned from an offline campaign was that dealing with Alps now is just all about having numbers on the battlefield. If you have the numbers advantage, you're in a pretty good spot. And dogs are wonderful for that. Man, I can't wait to turn these glowing resins into armor padding. The armor padding reduces fatigue of a piece of armor by 20%. So once we can get our hands on a coat of plates, you can get 300 body armor for 36 fatigue, which is, I think, is incredible. Ah yes, and then one other debate we've been having throughout this whole season is whether it's worth getting Fortified Mind on everyone, and I keep going back and forth on it, but I think I've kind of settled on the thought that I'm not going to be doing it again. The reason for that is my test subjects, none of them have Fortified Mind, and they seem to be doing just fine. Honestly, it's so much so that I'm wondering whether the effectiveness of the Ghost Scream has been toned down. Like, it's notable. I have my guys just with their 50 resolve and the extra resolve bonus from the Bannerman, and they were resisting the screams quite reliably. Also, I've got 180 days on my test subjects playthrough with only a sergeant and no Bannerman. I mean, for the whole 180 days, I kept thinking I'm going to look for one. When I find the right Bannerman, I'll hire one. But I just never got one. And it's been fine. I mean, I've even taken on a fight against 16 ghosts. Just ghosts. And it was totally fine. Okay, so you sit about a fire. Much talk is made about this or that. But the traveller does speak some words which reside within your mind long after he's gone. A boy stole my lunch the other day. But he'd done not what? But he'd done not do anything but stand there and eat it in front of me. I said, give me back my lunch, you scamp. But he said no. I reached for it, but his scrawny legs proved to be more cat than chicken. I said no. I asked why he'd done have to eat it in front of me. This was torture, you see. He said, because I'm hungry. I told him, I'm hungry too. Now give it back. Naturally, he done said no. And so naturally, when he'd done turned around, I cracked him with a stone, and that slackened his speed a bit, and I got my lunch back. But then yonder comes a footman of the mayor who says, don't do that. I asked him why not. He said, because that's the mayor's boy. My punishment was nothing, but I was warned to not do it again. I told him, I said, tell the boy to not steal again. And they said they had, and that I was more likely to yield to a command than he. And that's the way it was. Fucking small towns, I swear on smack, those places are more Billy than Hill. Weird. Anyways, as you can see, we need to do the delivery mission until our lads have recovered from their bad injuries. Oh yes, the other thing I forgot to talk about when I was showing you guys my test subjects was that with my shield breakers, I was able to experiment with a more ranged focused build where they have bags and belts and quick hands, and I give them a crossbow and I throw a bit of points into ranged skill. And it's been wonderfully useful because, I mean, it occurs to me every time I use shield break on a shield breaker, their melee skill becomes irrelevant because it doesn't take melee skill to destroy a shield. So they're able to do a surprisingly good amount of damage at range with their crossbows, and then when they come into melee contact, they just break the shields and the front line goes to work, or they, attack themselves. So what is this? Hunt down lindworms. How about no? Mercenaries. I really want to get this bloody orc ambition done so we can get involved in the war. There is good money to be made in the war. We have... Here's a prime example. Decent. Excellent. See, I was smart enough to do the same thing with all of my backline here. Excellent. How are we doing for kite shields? Not that great. I worry about Tobit. He's going to have a hard time staying alive. 52 ranged skill, he'll roll 2 to 3, so no. He'll have low 80s at level 11. It's terrible. If ever I've seen a candidate for a spear duelist with a dodge, this is it. I expect it to not be great, but we can always just try. Okay, we'll be healed up in another day's time. Should we spend this time? I think let's run around here and try find 2 more orc caves. We need to go clear out Moldy Shelter, so actually we only need 1 more. We'll do this loop around here and go back to Wolfheiden. A Master Archer. Would be tempting to fight him so we can get our hands on a warbow. We've got 1 here already. Actually, that reminds me. So what are we sitting? Okay, Kilt unfortunately is only level 2. He is going to be an effing superstar, but I think we'll let him level up a bit more before we splash 4,000 gold and get him a warbow. Hello, hello, what do we have here? It's a big group, whatever it is. Oh, 19 direwolves. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, that's terrifying. would love to fight those direwolves. We'll get so many direwolf pelts out of that, and we can turn those into armor upgrades. But 19 is a bit much, and I mean, a lot of them are going to be ravenous as well. And we have a level 1 guy on the front line. It's a pity those direwolves are around. We can fight the spiders, but not those direwolves. Which reminds me, if we have a two-handed weapon on the back line that I can spare, I think Tobit needs to go on the back line. We have a long axe. Here's what we do. 7 and 5. Tobit on the back line, who will just break shields. It's far too dangerous putting him on the front. Full health specialization, dagger specialization, Balloonski with this rubbish melee skill. I may as well pick up spear specialization quite soon. And those fighting spears typically cost like 3,000 gold, but I've found them well worth the investment. The extra bit of damage is pretty damn good. Well, we'll be doing that for sure. I doubly want to fight those the spiders, because then I can combine that with the sap and make them armor lining. Stay where you are, boys. Let them come. We should all be well familiar with the zombie protocol by now. Oh, that reminds me, dropping that on the floor. I need to get back into the habit when I'm fighting raiders with lots of marksmen. Give the guys in the front line a kite shield and a heater shield. And then once they get joined in melee combat, they can literally drop the kite shield on the floor. Because most of my lads are using quick hands to get the extra damage anyway. $36. Oh, let's wait. No, 1, 2. Actually, no. He'll be on him on the next turn, so may as well. I've honestly been considering whether I should change the way that I level up my shield breakers. Whether it's worth giving the shield breakers, build them kind of as archers. If there's ever going to be a class that I would justify giving 2 weapon specializations to, it will be the shield breakers. Crossbow mastery, because crossbows are awesome, and shield mastery because they get extra shield breaking ability. Although I think it's probably more conservative and more reliable. Fuck's sake, such a brick. To give them the points in melee skill, and then whatever damage they do in range, like this here, it's just a flat out bonus. Because like, see, with quick hands now, I can go to my axe and then go to work. Okay, admittedly he couldn't use Berserk there. Spear wall. You're gone. And just you boys wait until we get involved with the war and get our hands with some tier 3 crossbows. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 of the buggers. mean, like, that's nice, double kill, but with a great sword, he could have done so much more. The big takeaway for me with respect to the crossbows is how little points in range skill you actually need to be able to hit a decent amount of times with them. Are we? I was just using quick hands there in preparation for dropping or switching out my shield on the next turn for the damage boost. But that's right, Clout is actually a ranged specialist. Oh, so close! Almost killed him. Shot killed. Oh, the defense is not great in these guys so far. Oh shit, he's only level 5. Okay, right, now see, I'm suffering from that being accustomed to how powerful my other group of guys is. See, I'm playing as though I'm using the test subjects who are a lot stronger. Unlucky. Job Clout. Ugh. Man, losing our other mace specialist was a real blow to us. But hey, it's my fault for fighting against the Shrut. It was not smart. Nice, leg you. Nice. Okay, boys, save your ranged ammo. That shit is expensive. Honestly, if we can track down those spiders... Ooh, yes! We come across the once caravan hand, Legu, finicking with the company wagon. He's nailing a slat of board to the bed and using pins to put it on a roller. The board can then drop down into the belly of the wagon with a little bit of a pull and switch. Rather ingenious. This will allow you to load more onto the wagon. Nicely done, Legu. That's why we hired you. Level ups, anyone? A bunch of level ups. Mersault hits level 11. Praise be. Honestly, I think I might skimp on that melee defense just because this is going to get me up to 71 hit points. And then this now finally will mean that I'm not going to need to take Colossus on him. 88 at 11 is disappointing, huh? He didn't roll as well as he could have. I think killing Frenzy is probably necessary. And recover, we've got to have recover. So if he's attacking twice a turn, it's 24 fatigue. Is it necessary? 23 fatigue, can you strike down? Who am I kidding? I have to get recover. This does mean I'm not taking Steel Brow, but I've already got Fortified Mind, so... Recover and Killing Frenzy. Level 10, so Chubrak. Let's see here. Underdog is going to be needed, yes, very much so. And he's healed, we can put him back on the flank. With his two-handed flail. I might need Legu to move away then. Well, this setup won't be here for that long. It'll be once Tobert is leveled enough to take his place on the front line. Okay, who are we going to make as the replacement Mace Master? I absolutely want a second Mace Master again. Oh my god, that would be a nightmare. I don't want to fight that. Many berserkers, that's doable. It's less than a dozen berserkers. So let's go with Spear Protocol. Give ourselves space. And loads of ranged weapons is going to be super important, although Tobit can actually start like that and throw a net. Might even double down on the nets. Throw the net, stab once, whip out your two-handed mace. Now see, these lads don't have quick hands. But it's probably worth it's extra bit of fatigue as well. They need quick hands. Sharpish. Level 9 and no quick hands? What the fuck am I doing with this guy? 21 defense, it's okay. 19, 30, 11. I'm a bit nervous about this, but we really need to start finishing this ambition. There's a war going on and we're missing out on all the money to be made. Okay, 7 of these fuckers. Get the ones with the axes first. Good luck, boys. This is legit terrifying. Okay, Mersault is going to need reinforcement. I reckon we'll send Lodorak around. I might have him hang here and just see which way. It seems like the majority of the group's going to try to go north, but if they all swing south now, then Lodorak needs to be near. Okay, pick one, take him down. No pressure, Mersault, it's you against 4 or 5. It's my melee defense. 29 is not good. Leg you. Can't move in yet, so you may as well keep shooting. I think I want the support on the northern side. Scary. Is he worth netting? No, he's almost dead. Fuck, I'm surprised their initiative is so high. I would have thought we'd go before them. That is a serious issue. Go on, Satubrak. I just hope he goes for the shield break. Because if he attacks and manages... Okay, good. Here we go. Here we go. Cesar. Yes, my son. Well done. It's almost time to start moving forward. Okay, this lad here needs to go. Die! When did Belinsky lose body armor? Get wrecked! Oh! Oh! 95% chance and he rolls a perfect 100. Do I have rotation? I do. There's no one I particularly want to rotate. I think I smash him back so he only gets one attack on the next turn as opposed to two. Fuck, too exhausted. Good, good stabbing. I think that was a miss, that swing. Okay, that's fine. Cesar, you are our savior, do you know that? Look at how effective this backline ranged attacks are with the crossbows. So I feel like my team's overall DPS has been improved quite nicely, just by making the backline a bit more flexible. Okay, lads, here they come. This is scary, but I don't want them in contact with Kilt. Okay, not too bad. Good armor. It gave him a stack of rage. Not the end of the world, though. Excellent. Well done, Tobit. That's a very good hit. Nice. Actually, stun this nerd. Oh, but I can't. I don't have the space. Damn it. On the next turn. Outstanding. Outstanding. Yes! Disgusting green fucks. Belinsky, that was actually pretty clutch. Good work. Okay, I'm pleased with that. honestly, that could have gone pretty bad. The thing about these berserker fights is it's very much an all or nothing thing. Either you wreck them or they fucking wreck you. Nice level ups, lads. Dagger Master. Hit points is fine. That's good fatigue. And let's increase his ranged defense a bit. Okay. Yes. That's fine. He's got loads of fatigue, which is just wonderful. Brawny will give him even more, and I think we can wait for that. I think it's got to be Battle Forged, Brawny, and one more. Killing Frenzy doesn't apply to Puncture. I'm really curious about Crippling Strikes. I think it's worth experimenting with. Quick Hands is always useful because of its versatility, but less so when using Puncture, because he doesn't benefit from extra puncture damage when he swaps out the shield. Battle Forged. Kilt I don't think is going to need gifted. I like this build. I really think that fast adaptation is worth it. We'll go back for Bullseye because his ranged skill is still low enough that Bullseye is not really going to matter all that much. Okay, you're a spear duelist, so obviously melee skill. Defense. Oh god, his stats are bloody awful. Most likely we'll get him to level 6 and then just leave him in reserve. And then as soon as he provides us with a masterwork bow, we'll say, thanks for that, you're fired. I think Killing Frenzy. Keep going to work with that long axe. Nimble is actually probably better on the back line, especially because he's only got 9 range defense and no anticipation, so we'll come back for Killing Frenzy. 47% damage taken. That's going to help keep him alive a lot. Okay, we need to head back. Back to civilization. Necro Savants, no thank you. No intention of getting involved against those. Right, so what is this? Raid and pillage. I can't do that just yet. War Dog armor is tempting. We can make profit off of that. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's too expensive. Okay, we'll end it there, this episode that is. Head back down south, try get ourselves another patrol mission. We just need to clear out, what's it called? Moldy Shelter, and then we can get to the join the war ambition. And then decide who we're going to side with. I think Kaltenborn these are our guys. House Kaltenborn, okay. So I could have actually taken that then. But that 5-day raiding mission is super difficult. That's 3 battles at least against a bunch of arbalesters. Are we in a spot where we can win a mission like that? Mersault is level 11, he's nice and strong. Balloonski is a bit low, Lodorak is okay. Eisenbart is fine, Shubek is okay. I've only got one decent archer. And a couple of middling crossbowmen. That kind of mission would be doable, but super, super difficult. Okay, thanks for watching, friends. When we come back, we need to clear out Moldy Shelter and then decide on our next ambition. I think we get involved with the war and then very carefully choose our missions. Especially if it's 1 or 2 skull missions. I want to start fighting the enemy footmen and bowmen because their gear is so good. And the arbalesters as well. They are terrifying, yes, but if Cesar can pick off an arbalester with a tier 3 crossbow, we get that tier 3 crossbow. Give it to Clout McDowd with his, 80 ranged skill now, 73, 80 when he's confident. Up that to 50 to 70 with the tier 3 crossbow. Damn. I might even justify giving him Headhunter. Just so I can prove how tier 3 crossbow with a headshot kills almost everything. We can also go back south, sell a bunch of these resources, invest in some better weapons, like a tier 3 mace, some better armor. We shall see. 77 accuracy. Can I give you a sword? Nah. Okay. Thanks for watching, friends. I'm Stobbie149. This is the Bloody Dawn. We're doing okay. The losses we took in the last mission suck, but we're doing okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.